asked you guys recently what has been the hardest topic for you to learn, and by far, cases was chosen to be number one. And I thought, why not dedicate a whole series of videos to cases where we would break it down layer by layer. See, cases is a very complicated topic. There's so many details to cases that one video just simply wouldn't cover it all. Even making one big video wouldn't be good, because once you understand one layer of cases, there needs to be some time of practice before you can get to the second layer. We're gonna have this series of understanding cases, but I don't really know how many episodes we're gonna have, depending on, of course, how well you guys receive this and how well you understand this cases topic. But today, let's start with the very foundational stuff about cases and how to better understand them. So right now, you might only have heard of this topic, cases. You might have never actually dove into it, and that's the perfect start. That's the perfect target audience that I want to have for this video. And also, if you have struggled with cases before, even though you try to understand them, this video is for you as well. Because what if you missed the very key important information in the very beginning? So let's begin. What are cases? Number one, let's start with, why do we even need cases in Russian? Cases assign roles. That's the number one thing that you guys should take away, that cases assign roles in a sentence. But before we get into cases, we have to understand roles in Russian and what kind of roles can words take. We have three major roles that nouns will take, which is subject, direct object, and indirect object. So any noun that you see in a sentence will be either subject, direct object, or indirect object. There's no other way, there's no other role that is there, so it will take one of these three. And let's show how roles show up in a sentence. Let's take any action. She throws a ball to him. Okay? She throws a ball to him. She would be the subject because she is doing the action. Who is throwing? She, right? So she is going to be the subject. Then we have to ask, what's being thrown? Ball is being thrown. So ball is going to be direct object. So whenever you have a sentence like that, you ask, what is the action being done to? If it's, I sing a song, right? What is being sung? The song is being sung. So it's going to be direct object. The song is going to be. I play a game. What's being played? Game is being played. So game is going to be direct object. Okay, that's how you identify a direct object in a sentence. So she is the subject, direct object is ball, and then we have him. What role does him take? Him is not being thrown, so he's not being thrown, right? So he is not being directly affected by the action, so it's an indirect object. Because it's not directly affecting him, but he's still being affected. The ball is going to him, so he's going to catch it. Right? He is not being thrown, but he will somehow interact with this whole action thing. So like I said before, cases will assign roles in the sentence. So we have three major roles: subject, direct object, and indirect object. Those three roles will be assigned by cases. But how does that happen? What does it actually mean when I say assigned by cases? Let's take a word, telephone, which means a phone. Right here, telephone. Phone. The cases will influence this word by changing its ending. Okay, as you can see right now on the screen, there's multiple endings happening to this one word. The endings change, and that's how cases will affect nouns, by changing its ending. Not the beginning, not the stem itself, but the end of it, the ending of it. Okay, that's how you can tell when the word is changing at the end. It's most likely going to be cases affecting it. And we have 6 cases total in Russian. But before we get into the cases names, guys, join our BeFluent camp with the first link in the description if you want to take your Russian speaking and listening and grammar and vocabulary to the next level, so you guys can speak Russian better to other people, express your thoughts and ideas, and understand them better as well. It's our 8-week intensive course where you will be taken to the next level of your Russian. If you're a beginner, be taken to intermediate. If you're intermediate, be taken to advanced. If you're advanced, get closer to fluency. We have 8 weeks together. We start on January 9th, 2023. But if you watch this video later than that date, we have these sessions running 2 times per year. So if you click the link in the description, you'll find the date that's closest to yours right now, so you can also join. And now let's get into the cases names. In Russian, we have 6 cases total, like I said: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, instrumental, and prepositional. But wait, there is 6 cases in Russian, but only 3 roles that words can play. Where are the other 3 roles that we haven't mentioned? In fact, we only have 3 roles in Russian and 6 cases. It's just that 4 cases will be assigning one indirect object. Let's talk about that right now. Nominative case will assign a subject. So in a sentence, any word that's being in nominative case will be the subject automatically. Even if it's at the end of the sentence, in the beginning, in the middle, it doesn't really matter. If it's a nominative case, it will be the subject. Then we have genitive, dative, instrumental, and prepositional to assign indirect objects. Okay? So 4 cases will assign indirect objects in the sentence. And only 1 accusative case will assign direct objects. So if you have a direct object, you put it in accusative case. If you have a subject, you put it in nominative case. If you have an indirect object, however, then you have to choose between one of these 4 cases. We'll get to that, I believe, in the second part, so we can understand that next complexity a bit later, because it's kind of like maybe 15 to 20 minutes on its own, okay? For now, let's focus on just the basic stuff. So let's see how cases will affect the word that we have already mentioned, telephone. Let's put telephone in all of its cases, potential cases, that you might see it in the sentence as well. So telephone by itself is going to be nominative case. Telephone. Genitive case is telefona. So we add a to it. Dative case will be telefonu. We add u to it. Accusative case will be telephone. Just like nominative case, we don't change it. Then we have instrumental case, telefonam. Then we have a prepositional case, telefonia. So we have ye at the end. One thing to take away from this, just note that accusative case and nominative case are going to be the same. So they don't change, okay? Because it's kind of clear from context who is doing the action most of the time. Instrumental case is very easy to remember because it has a om ending. The only case with 2 letters as an ending. So that's kind of easier to remember and to understand and to see in a sentence. If the word is a bit longer than you typically used to seeing it, most likely it's an instrumental case. Okay, just 2 kind of tricks to remember the cases a bit easier. And that's about it when it comes to what cases do, how they affect the word, and things like that. If you are a beginner right now, this information is crucial. If some things are not so clear to you right now, go back and watch this video again to make sure that you understand everything in its entirety. If you miss something right now, it's going to show later down the road with more mistakes in the basics of cases. And in the next episode, we're going to cover why we have 4 indirect object cases and how cases will affect feminine, neuter, and plural gender nouns as well. If we have posted that video already, it's going to be right here. If we haven't, watch this video right here next.